Hey everybody, it's Boardman21 and today's build is going to be the Beastmaster with a solo companion, the Raptor. And the reason we're going with the Raptor is it can do a lot more damage and we're stacking a lot of that melee damage thanks to aspect of the Shark. We're actually capable of getting up to, and this is our record, 71 stacks of aspect of the Shark. In order to get that many, you do either have to get a bunch of kills all at one time, or you'll have to hit a mob over and over that's a rare or a boss. So against some of the bosses that have the damage reduction, if you can sit there and hit it for 20 seconds straight, you just start hitting faster and faster and faster. Now, when you do get to that 70 stacks of aspect of the Shark, the other thing you get is over 500% melee attack speed, and that's not just your attack speed, your companion is getting that too. So your Raptor goes absolutely nuts, or really any companion that you choose to use with the build. We did Scorpion earlier, and now we're using the Raptor. That means that you're applying ailments faster, it means your damage goes up. On the same time, you're also stacking more melee damage per stack, and for us that means that we got over 6,000% melee damage when we had that 70 stacks. Our Raptor is also getting that buff, and when it gets that buff, it starts critting harder and harder. I've seen our Raptor crit for well over 20k damage. You're not going to get that at all times. It doesn't have 100% crit, but it is a huge amount of crit that your Raptor is doing with the aspect of the Shark buff, especially when you have 5 to 20 stacks of it, which is about what you can carry through an entire Monolith run. Between those two things, we're also running low life. We're running low life, we're trying to get the Raptor to run low life, and for the Raptor, it actually works really well. So we took the node where it has a 10% chance to lose 10% of its health on every attack that it does, and that sounds really bad. It gets a 20% melee attack speed boost from doing that, but it also gains damage. So it gains 2% damage for every 1% missing health, so the lower its health gets, the more multiplicative damage it gets, and that really increases its damage as well. Also on our helm, we put that the companions will leech a percentage of damage they do, so it kind of works in tangent with itself. So he misses more life, he therefore does more damage, and then he leeches more back. So he's actually quite survivable. We did give them some minion dodge so they don't get hit very often, but as soon as he starts losing health, you'll notice that he gets it right back with the more damage and the leech that he gets. And so it works really well for him. It works just like our low life, where we have a lot less life, but we take less damage because of it, and we do more melee damage. So it's a low life build for us, it's a low life build for the Raptor, and it's just low life all over the place, and you get benefits really good from it. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the skills. For skills, we're going to be running Summon Raptor, Summon Frenzy Totem, Serpent Strike, Eterra's Blessing, Ice Thorns. Now the reason that we're not running Entangling Roots and that we're running Ice Thorns is Ice Thorns for us is free, and Entangling Roots cost a lot of mana, and we're trying to not spend any mana other than when we need to, having Eterra's Blessing go off. The other thing that we have that costs mana is the Frenzy Totem, and we also have the Raptor's ability Rampage, which is pretty expensive, a cost of 41 with a 15-second cooldown, also on autocast, so it's going to go off every time that it comes off cooldown. The reason for that is our aspect of the Lynx buff is activated every time we use a minion ability, which is Rampage, and with the duration increases we have, it lasts for about 16 seconds, so we have 100% uptime of aspect of the Lynx, which is very useful for getting more crit chance and doing some more damage with our Raptor and for us ourselves too. So for Summon Raptor, there are a lot of ways to do this skill tree, and this is probably not the most best way for just straight damage, but it's working extremely well. There's not enough points to max all the things that we want to max. The most important thing, we're using the Raptor as a low life build. So not only are we low life, but we want our Raptor to be low life as well. So we put 2 points in cornered. This gives it more damage for each percent of missing health. What's nice about that is it means that if your Raptor gets down to 1% health, it has 198% more damage. So the more damage your Raptor takes, the more damage it's going to put out. With 1 point in Broken Tooth, you have 20% more attack speed, and you have a 10% chance to lose 10% of your current health on every attack. This is how we get it to low life. Now the thing that really benefits from this is that we're going to have a massive amount of leech for our minion. It's going to leech over 10% of the damage it does back in health. And it's going to be critting for 10, 20k. It can hit super hard. So what's nice is the more times that it doesn't attack, the more low life it makes itself go without getting hit, the more damage it'll do, and the more it starts to refill that. And it's kind of like word generation, where there's kind of a fine line where it slowly goes up and up and up, and then it stops, and then when you take a hit it goes down, and that hit's going to be your leech. So you're going to see your Raptor's life go down and down and down. It's going to get some big hits, fill back up, and it's going to be going up and down, up and down. We also have 2 points in Vicious Rampage. The reason we went for this is that increased effect, so it normally gets 40% more damage, 40% more attack speed, and 40% movement speed. And this 2 points, I wish we had 4 points, but this 50% increase will make all those 60 instead of 40. So it'll get 60% more damage, move speed, and attack speed, and all that. We have 2 points in Predator to get some more critical strike chance, 1 point in Vexation so that rampage duration lasts a little bit longer, 5 points in Razor Rings to give it melee physical damage base. This base is super important, as all of the more damages that it gets later are all based off of its base damage, and this really helps that. 3 points in Scent of Blood to have more damage against bleeding enemies. 2 points in Ravage so that against bleeding enemies it has more critical strike chance and its critical strike multiplier is much higher. 1 point in Thrill of the Hunt to have haste every time that it gets a kill, and 1 point in Adaption so after it gets 10 kills in one zone, which means that every 15 waves in the arena that resets, or every new mono map that resets it. But once it gets 15 kills in one of those areas, which it will do, it's doing enough damage, it will get the kills for you. It gets 15% more damage, and it gets a little bit bigger. Other things that you could do to max if you want, you just need more points really for more damage. But if you don't want to run the low life, and I tell you this isn't what's going to kill your Raptor, it does just fine with these. Those 3 points can be better spent probably maxing out the rampage effect and getting more of the damage against bleeding targets. Or you could just put them into its bleed chance. It does have other bleed chance and targets will be bleeding already, but a few points there wouldn't hurt as well for some more of it. For Frenzy Totem, we have 4 points in Rapidity, 5 points in Beast-Style Frenzy, so that the companion, our Raptor, will have 20 more base melee physical damage. That's huge. 5 points in Venomous Intent for some poison chance, 3 points in Revitalizing Totem, and 3 points in Symbol of Haste, so that we have 3 seconds of haste every time that we cast it, and that makes us almost speed run through maps. For Serpent Strike, we're using this the exact same way. We have 4 points in Nagasa Venom, 1 point in Venomous Intent, 3 points in Chrono Strike, 2 points in Plague Bearer, 5 points in Scorpion Strikes, and 5 points in Spear Flurry. For Eterra's Blessing, we have 3 points in Improved Blessing, 1 point in Ancestral Renewal, 4 points in Safeguard, 1 point in Natural Affinity so our companion can't be stunned, 3 points in Symbiosis for that 90% bleed chance for both us and for our Raptor every time that we cast Eterra's Blessing on it, 5 points in Ardent Touch to give our companion 30% more attack speed and move speed, 2 points in Encourage, and with 1 point in Swift Recovery, if our Raptor does for some reason go down, we can almost instantly revive him. For Ice Thorns, once again, we're using this instead of Entangling Roots because 1, it's free, and 2, it can do some more poison for us. For that, we have 1 point in Emblem of Might, 1 point in Thaw, 4 points in Barbed Thorns, 1 point in Nightshade for that bleed chance to be converted to poison. Now, I went with poison chance because I like to stack lots of poison, especially with Serpent Strike. But if you want to make targets bleed before your Raptor even gets to them, I recommend taking this 1 point out, and that bleed will then go out, and your Ice Thorns, which home around all around you and hit the mobs before the Raptor gets to them, will put a bleed on that, so your Raptor's first hit will already be doing that more damage against a bleeding target. 1 point in Anemophily, 1 point in Thorn Shield, 4 points in Bulb Shield, 1 point in Second Nature, and 6 points in Florid Tides will finish out that skill tree. For passives, we have 25 points in the Primalist base class with 6 points in Gift of the Wilderness, 5 points in Natural Attunement, 1 point in Primal Strength, 3 points in Primal Medicine, 5 points in Ancient Call, and 5 points in Berserker. We have no points in the Druid. We took out the points in the Shaman that was giving us the attack speed, so we have no points in the Shaman. And we have 89 points in the Beastmaster, with 5 points in Savagery, 1 point in Ambush, 1 point in Ardors of Loyalty, 4 points in Boarheart, 5 points in Porcine Constitution, 4 points in Call of the Pack, 1 point in Rending Maul, 4 points in Hunters of the Deep, 5 points in Primal Strength, 5 points in the Circle of Life, 1 point in Dragon Slayer, 8 points in Ocean Maul, 1 point in Feeding Frenzy, 8 points in Cry of the Lynx, 6 points in Serrated Claws, 10 points in Primal Aspects, 8 points in Avian Shelter, 1 point in Force of Nature, 10 points in Viper Fangs, and 1 point in Natural Bond. For items, we have the exact same items that we're using on the other character. We're going to have both the idol to give aspect of the Viper effect increase. You can do shark increase as well, but I feel like we get enough shark that it doesn't even matter. And then we have health idols. For the weapon, we did change our weapon. We now have minion physical damage and minion damage on it. We still have the chance to poison on hit and melee attack speed. We're still running Insanguius. We still have the boots. The rings are still going to have the set glancing blow and the dodge rating. The belt still has health. The gloves still have health. We did change the helm. We are running that 10.2% of minion melee damage leeches health. This is huge for your Raptor. It's going to be leeching 10% of that damage, which is huge. We also put minion dodge rating on our helm. We, for the amulet, changed it over to a turquoise amulet so that we could get some more minion damage and critical strike chance. We also put minion dodge on this as well, and then for the relic, again, minion dodge rating as well as some minion damage. The reason that we went with so much minion dodge rating is we wanted to make sure that he's avoiding about 80% of all the attacks. We want the Raptor not to get hit. We want him to control his own amount of missing life based on how fast he attacks, and then letting his leech fill in that spot. And he has pretty high survivability. We're going to push him in the arena later. However, he was capable of easily destroying all the Monolith bosses, and we'll play that later in the gameplay. For the character sheet, you can see we have no protections. We only have 25% dodge. We do have our 100% glancing blow. And for our minion stats, we have 828 minion dodge, along with a couple 100% of damage, 488% physical damage for him, and the Raptor hits like a truck. Now, your damage is going to come when you get aspect of the shark. You get aspect of the shark a few ways. You get it once every 5 seconds for actually just using any skill. So as soon as I actually use Serpent Strike, you'll see I instantly get a stack. You get that once every, it's either 3 or 5 seconds, and that's how you get a couple of stacks for free. Now once you start hitting rares or bosses, there's a 25% chance when you kill an enemy to get a stack. So killing a bunch of enemies, you kill 20 trash mobs, you're going to get like 5 stacks for that. On top of that, for rares and bosses, you get 25% more chance for an aspect of the shark for every hit against a rare or a boss. And when we're hitting the same boss over and over again, you're going to start getting stacks. Now, this kind of compounds itself because as you get more stacks, your attack speed goes up, which means you start hitting faster, which gives you more stacks, and it just keeps feeding into it and into it. And if a boss doesn't die and you can literally just sit there and hit it, you could get even more than the 70 stacks that we did. However, 70 stacks was the max that we got, which gave us just over 500% melee damage. Sorry, 500% melee attack speed, and it gave us over 6,000% melee damage. And then we had, of course, since we're using Serpent Strike, we had 2,000 poison damage, 1,000% damage over time, and you're just doing absolute crazy damage. And remember, the Raptor gets aspect of the shark as well, so the more melee damage and melee attack speed that you're getting, the Raptor is getting it as well. Alright, let's go ahead and get into some gameplay.